So we're in beautiful Whitefish, Montana. We're on the lake, on the boat, about to have a great day. We've got some of our kids with us, which is totally fun. The question for today is, how do you tell your kids about your divorce? So I'm going to share with you some ideas about how to get it right so you can empower your kids. Your kids don't need to be victims. They can be better because of it. So that's what today's vlog is all about. I hope you enjoy. Stay tuned. So we know the question, how do we tell our kids? That's one of the most tough things for parents. So we've made the decision, we've talked about it with each other, and now we have to tell our kids. That is heavy. But I have some really good news for you. You can do it in a way that not only empowers you, but empowers them. Now I will tell you, there is a big difference in the ages of children. And whatever we do, we have to be age appropriate. So clearly, you're not going to sit down with your 2-year-old and give them an in-depth explanation of what's happening. And you're maybe not even going to burden your 14 or 15-year-old with too much detail because they're kind of into their own thing anyways. But the reality is we have to have a conversation regardless of the age. And we have to do it in a way that is empowering to them. So how do we do that? Well, let me tell you, there's a few key things. One is there has been some research to suggest that adult children of divorce, one of the biggest things that happens to them is that their intuition is squashed. How does that happen? We don't validate what they already know. I can almost assure you, and you know this already, that your kids kind of know. They know mom and dad aren't getting along. They know mom and dad are not going to likely last. But they've got all these stories going through their head. How's this going to look? How's this going to impact me? If there's teenagers, it's really about how's this going to impact me. Adult children as well suffer with the changes in their parents' transition through divorce. So don't write these adult children off. They often need a little more time and attention. And then the young toddlers, well, they're pretty easygoing and malleable. You can kind of get them to go wherever you want. However, regardless of their age, validate their intuition. This is so important. If a child or a young adult is saying, wow, you look sad, something's wrong, what's going on? Don't shove it under the carpet. Don't say to them, oh, nothing, everything's fine. We've been kind of taught that in the past, but that is not empowering. And what it does, this is really important, you guys. What it does is it tells them that their intuition is off. So step one, you have to validate their intuition. So how do you do that without giving them the whole story? It's actually quite simple. So mom or dad, you look sad, you look upset. Yes, boy, thank you for noticing, honey. I'm feeling a little sad today. Now, for people who are thinkers, have a hard time labeling feelings, but I'm really going to encourage you to get a feeling book. If not, write some feelings down. I feel sad, I feel happy, I feel angry, I feel frustrated. Get a little library for yourself so that when your children say, you seem to be, you can turn around and label that feeling for them. What that does is it validates their intuition. You don't have to go into a long dialogue. You can just say, thank you for noticing. Yes, I'm feeling this way, and I am working through it, and I'm going to be okay. And so you know, honey, this has nothing to do with you. I love you unconditionally. When I talk to families, they always say, oh, my kids know that we love them. You're right, they do. But guess what? When you're going through a divorce, they need to hear it more than you think. They need to hear on a constant basis that I love you, this isn't about you, you had nothing to do with this, and everything's going to be fine. I believe it's incredibly important, number one, you tell them together. And I don't care, quite frankly, how old the kids are. Of course, you're going to be age appropriate. If they're young, you're going to speak in short, brief sentences in terminology that they can understand. If they're older, you're still going to keep it short and brief. They don't need to know the details. What they need to do is they need to know that mom and dad are okay and that they had nothing to do with it. Now, what kids will do, regardless of their age, is they're going to look for who's the victim. So you might have a situation where husband or wife, father or mother, is more stoic than the other one. One may be a crier and one may be less emotional. And that is not a male-female thing necessarily. What I would say is be authentically who you are, because that the kids will read through that in a second if you're not. But also make sure if you are emotional and one appears to be stoic, that you actually express to the kids, regardless, that you're both struggling, that this is hard for both of you, and that you're working together. In that moment when you're telling your children, there will be likely one of you that's still further ahead on this decision than the other. But you need to show up on the same page. You need to set your egos aside, guys. You really need to get this. Your kids are going to be looking, who's the victim in this? This is about them. So you can tell them, mom and dad have decided that we're no longer going to be together. I want you to say, we're working together with an organization, with somebody, with something, where we're going to come up with a plan of how this is going to look for the family. And what we promise you, kids, is that as we come up with a plan, we will share it with you. Now think about that. We're not asking them at this point in time for their input. We're not telling them that they have some ability to change the course of life. We've told them a very definitive, mom and dad are parting ways. We don't have to use the word divorce at this time. We've given them some hope and some sensitivity around the fact they've heard so many horror stories. We need to take those horror stories out of their moment, out of their minds right now, and we need to give them hope. And we need to know that we're going to work together to make these decisions. Because there's only two decisions. Hello, it's around money and it's around kids, period. And that shouldn't take 3 years, and that shouldn't take hundreds of thousands of dollars. So they're going to say, depending on their age, yeah, but what about me? Do I have input? Where am I going to live? Okay, kids. There's lots of things that we're going to be making decisions on, but our commitment to you is, when it's appropriate, we will get your input. Absolutely. And when we make decisions, we will share them with them. Guess what? This frees them up. We've taken the burden away from them so that they can continue to focus on them, because that's what they want to do. And we get to focus on figuring out what we're going to do, and we will share it with them. So hopefully that gives you enough nuggets today about setting the stage for telling your kids. It's a difficult conversation, I know, but you can do it. You can do it. I'm hoping that this gives you some hope and insight and can see some light at the end of the tunnel. I'd love to get your feedback, and tune in next time.